Yeah, so that was just like a track that I made using the Move, and I can kind of show you how I pretty much put it all together. So what's cool about the Move is this is kind of like right now it's on like a project kind of loading screen where each of these pads is like a project that gets saved on. So what I do is I work on kind of like a like a loop, like 8 to 16 bar loop, and then I'll make duplicates of the project, like 3 more instances of the same project, which is this top row here. So this first pad would be kind of like the intro, then the second pad would be like the first verse, this third pad would be kind of like the second verse, and then the fourth pad is kind of like the chorus, or the like the hook or whatever. And then what's cool is with this project loading screen, you can preview songs before you actually load them, or preview projects before you load them, and then you can also kind of trigger them to play. So that's kind of how I have it. So this first one we can play, which is pretty much the sample without any of the other elements, and then we can hit the second pad, and then that's like kind of like the first verse. And then this is kind of like, like the second verse. And then the hook. Yeah. So let's load up this last one. This is kind of like the finished kind of loop, I guess. And the way I have this particular project set up is I have the first 3 tracks are kind of drum kits, whereas the first track is the sample that I chopped. The second track is drums, which is like a drum break that I kind of just chopped. And then this third track is another drum kit, but with just like various samples on it. So the vocal samples, and then some guitar stuff. And then I have a bass line in here, which I played from my computer from a VST, and I just recorded directly into the Move. Same with these like vocal samples and like the guitar sample, I just played them directly into the Move. And then this last track is just like an onboard sound or synth. Yeah, and that's kind of like how I set up this particular song. Yeah, and here I'll play the kind of how I chop the sample on here. So chopping samples on the Move, it's a little similar to chopping samples kind of on the SP404, where you're kind of resampling what's playing, and then you can assign those to pads. So when you're chopping samples on here, you're basically just resampling whatever the Move is playing. So if it's playing like everything, you're pretty much resampling everything. So what you have to do is you kind of have to just make sure that it's only the sample that you want resampled. Hope that makes sense. Or the original sample is the only thing that you want chopped, just so the other elements around it aren't playing at the same time. So this is the original sample. Yeah, I mean, it's just pitched down a little bit, and then the way I played it was like this. then the drums are pretty simple. It's just a drum break that I just kind of like chopped, a simplified kind of drum break. Yeah, and then this third track is just, like I said, it's just the various like other stuff on top of everything. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, yeah, like I said, I'll work on that like kind of full kind of loop of a song, and then I'll duplicate the project with slight variations into the actual sounds that are being used. So like I said, track 1 is just nothing but the sample, no drums, pretty much dry. And then track 2 with drums, a bass line, filtered out the sample a little bit. And then track 3, filtered out the sample a little bit more, played that little kind of marimba on top of it, and then added like a guitar sample. And then project 4 is the full kind of loop. Yeah, but I've been having a lot of fun with this little groove box. It's great that it has like a battery in it. Like I said, I've been kind of taking it outside of the studio and making stuff like while I'm watching my son, or just like on the couch or in the kitchen and stuff like that. Just it's a great like sketch pad. And like with any kind of hardware groove box or sketch pad or sampler or whatever, if I really like the track that I'm working on, I'll finish it up in Ableton. And what's great about this is you can just export like an Ableton project and just open it up in Ableton. Whereas like with my Roland 404 and even the MPCs, the newer MPC and the older MPCs, I would just have to like record, like stem out like each track, like record them directly into Ableton. So this makes it a little bit easier for me. I mean, I'm still going to use the other like hardware samplers and stuff. I still have like a bunch of stuff that I need to record on the MPC or just track out anyway. But yeah, this has been like a really good kind of piece of equipment. And like this along with the SP404 and maybe even the Teenage Engineering, the KO2 or whatever, the EP133. Where is it? It's over there somewhere. They're all kind of like comparable in price. Like they're kind of in the same price bracket. But I feel like this one kind of suits my needs for the music that I make and whatnot. I feel like even if you're not an Ableton Live user, you can still learn how to use this. Like once you learn the workflow on this, you can make things pretty efficiently. You're not like super banging out stuff, but like what's cool about this, since it uses kind of like a web manager to manage files, is I just been using my phone, and I just hook up like a hard drive to my phone, and then I just go on the web manager and just download samples directly onto the Move. But I do wish, why don't they just put an SD card on this thing, like a little micro SD card, just be able to move samples a little bit better. But anyway, I know that at the heart of this, like the processor, it's basically a Raspberry Pi as its computing unit. I forgot which model. It's like one of the small Raspberry Pis. But the Raspberry Pi, I think maybe the firmware as well as everything else is on like a micro SD card. So I'm not sure if you can maybe open this up and then take the micro SD card out and like basically just clone it onto like a bigger micro SD card. I mean, I know Raspberry Pi it pretty much runs like Linux, you know, like a Linux distro. But yeah, I have to do some research. I know that you can maybe open it up and, you know, like take it out, but we'll see. I'm kind of afraid to open it, honestly. And I'm a little afraid, like, if I can't clone the micro SD card, then I'm just kind of stuck. But I'll try it maybe one of these days, and I'll let you guys know how that goes, because I have a few computers that can run like some Linux operating systems, so maybe I can figure it out. But anyway, thanks for tuning in.